different techniques to help our clients achieve the goals that they want. And when it comes to success, we incorporate the 5 principles of success. To achieve our desired outcome, there are 5 simple steps to help us achieve what we've set out to do, or to take control of our situation. They're quite simple in their own right, and yet very powerful when combined. And so the first is to know your outcome. You need to really know what it is that you want to achieve, or where you want to go, or what you want your outcome to be. Many people are totally lost, like sailing ships in a thick fog, because they're looking for something, but not quite sure what. Should I change my career? Must I stay with the person that I'm with? What do you really want? Make a list of the specific things that you want to achieve. Be sure to write them down, and write down exactly what it is that you want and not what you don't want. Then of course, once we know what the outcome is, what we want to achieve, then we need to take action. And in fact, we need to take massive action. It's quite simple, yet so many people sit around and they ponder about what they should be doing next, never actually doing what it takes to get where they want to be. If you want to change your career, take action. You need to start looking for another job. If you want to save the relationship with you, take action. Why is it not going the way you want it to go? Speak to your partner and find out what he or she wants. Sitting around on your bum and not taking action is not going to get you anywhere. That is how people wake up when they realize their lives have passed them by. It's when they say, should have, could have, would have. So we need to take that massive action. The third thing then is to have sensory acuity. And so this is interesting in the fact that we're sometimes oblivious to what's going on around us. Example, what signals are we getting from other people? Let's stick with the idea of the relationship just for a second and really simplify it just for explaining what we mean by sensory acuity. If you lean in closer to give your partner a kiss and they turn their head so that you kiss their cheek instead, or they get red in the face, then there's probably something wrong. Ask them what the problem is. If it's been going on for some time, there may be some underlying issues, and maybe why you get this feeling that all is not well. If they jump up and they give you a more passionate kiss, then it's a good indication that you're getting what you want. So be aware of the subtle signals that people give us to show their emotions. So if you're taking action to achieve a particular goal and things are not quite going to plan, then it's important to notice that it's not going to plan, and of course then have behavioral flexibility. Now in this instance, I'm talking about sensory acuity specific in looking or noticing within a person, but we can have sensory acuity in noticing anything that we do. Is it working or not? And of course that leads us then to step number 4, which is to have behavioral flexibility. So let's say that there you are in a restaurant and your waiter brings you some food. Problem is that the food is cold. So what do? A, you moan at the waiter and make a bit of a scene. Your partner's embarrassed, and later you'll argue about your behavior. The waiter's already having a bad evening because the warmer drawer is playing up, and that's the reason why the food's is cold. Or B, now let's just say you quietly and politely call the waiter over and explain that the food is cold. He profusely apologizes and explains about the warmer drawer. He's actually also the manager, and he says you can have the meal on the house because of your politeness. You see, the way in which we act determine how other people again will react, and so on. The same situation can have many outcomes depending on your behavior. Back to the relationship example. Shouting it back at your partner instead of asking them why they're in a bad mood can lead to further argument. Speaking to them in a soft, caring, calm voice could calm them down and give them time to explain, and maybe they just had a terrible day at work. So if something isn't working, do it differently. Look for alternatives. So have this behavioral flexibility, and as you do, you want to operate from a physiology and psychology of excellence. So what do we mean by that? Well, how do you stand? How do you carry yourself? The thoughts that run through your mind and how you act. Make sure what it is that you want in your head and how you want to carry yourself to achieve your outcome. Is it conducive to getting you the results that you want? Would you go to an interview in ripped jeans, chewing gum, and act in a way that may offend the potential employer? Do you walk tall and speak clearly? When you're with your partner, do you lie on the couch and shout across at the room for them to get you another cup of coffee? You don't see the Queen of England swearing in public and chewing gum with her mouth open. Instead, you will see a polite wave and a smile. So be sure that you act, behave, and carry yourself in a way that's conducive for the end result you wish to achieve. This doesn't mean being false. It simply means that you act in a way that will do you proud, because you never know who's watching. And so these are the 5 principles of success, with some simple examples just showing, how we as people can behave, and that there can be different outcomes depending on the behavior or lack of behavior. So when we incorporate these 5 principles of success, then we behave in a way that will help us at achieving our intended goal. Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, either way you're right. And Michael Caine once said, I have a policy to never listen to anyone explain why they can't do something. He said he didn't want to become convinced by them. And so when we have this goal or this outcome that we want to achieve, you see, we can be like a light bulb and we can be all over the place. Instead, if I take that energy from that light bulb and I focus it like a laser, then I can take massive action in focusing to achieve the particular outcome that I want to achieve, following these 5 principles of success. Good, so that's the 5 principles of success, and in the next section we're going to be talking about Wheel of Life.